Yo, what it do? 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 It's your host, Vino the Most, and like the big homie Smoke. Shout out to the MF people. And what's up to all my strictly ghetto engines out here in this big engine country? Shout out to Hawk School, and I digress like rude. Hey, what it do? What it do? Today's show is how black Seminole Indians came back from Mexico to Oklahoma in the 1870s. I will be reading primary sources from generals and colonels, back and forth with the government on the Seminole Black Indians in the 1870s. And the reason that I'm bringing this to the light is because folks really got a problem with a person like myself that says that I'm an Indian. What's up, round table gang? Ice on his fangs. What it do? What it do? Hold on. Uh, okay, you free. Okay. That's good news. The homie free for being locked up. And the YouTube just rejected my little thing, man. So man, I guess I'm gonna have to go into on my wall and post a link there if anybody wanna get the link like that. But just like I say, the reason that I'm bringing this information or these primary sources because I said some people got a problem with when I say that I'm an Indian Seminole and that's what my peoples was called. You know what I'm saying? I guess they ain't let me post the link because I ain't paid my little thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I guess I gotta pay my little fee. But I'm gonna post it in my little community wall here in a little bit. I'm gonna play this little song while I'm playing a song. I'm gonna post it there. But it's like I say, people be upset, and it's gonna be said many times within the primary sources where they calling, you know what I'm saying, the people that I'm descended from, where they calling the people where I'm descended from Black Indians, Seminoles, Seminole Black Indians, and they also kind of break it down too a little bit, as far as like the difference between us and other Negroes, which we will see within these primary sources. Let me go and post this link real quick on my community wall, but it's gonna be on my community wall on the Vino the Most When Said channel. It's gonna be on the Vino the Most When Said community wall where you can go get the link if you wanted to tap in through this little build. Hold on. Let me get this going. I hope everybody having a good day. Hope everybody having a good day. Having a good day. Officially dropped this little game, which is over on Smoke's channel. Listening to them. But I wanted to get this information out. I was gonna do a video, but the video I just posted the link over there in the community wall on the We Know the Most channel. Let me post it in the thing. Hold on, I'm finna put. Hold on, real quick. All right, I'm back. Round table gang, ice on his fangs. What's up? How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I was looking out for you yesterday. I didn't see you go live, man.
Yeah, man, I was gonna go live, man, but I was trying to, as far as get my little sources and stuff ready, as far as like some stuff I was gonna present. Matter of fact, I got this other little channel and shit. I'll be doing a little shit with this OG nigga from down here. I'll be letting the OG talk. It's a little gang channel or whatever, but I'll be letting the OG talk. I was gonna start some shit. Well, I was already kind of had some shit going on with him in the past, but it's all good, man. I just, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, I was trying to get this channel right here kind of going with some information and put my little information out. I've been, kind of going. So I kind of been fading off from that channel and trying to, get my studies. But what's up, man? You up out of jail, man? They let you up out there, huh?
Still got 9 minutes, bro. I still got 9 minutes.
Still got 9 minutes. What's up? You gonna go live?
I was going to, but tell you the truth, since I've been in YouTube jail, I've been going to bed early, bro. I've been falling asleep, nigga. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's why I had to check myself a little bit. Like, man, I got to start getting my rest.
Yeah. Do your thing, though, bro. I'm going to fall back. You got it.
Yeah, bet, man. I'm first to play this little song real quick. Russian Roulette, the Black Mexican Bitch and Bricks. And then we're going to get into the show.
Getting from the other side of the border for a price that is reasonable. I'm leaving no evidence when they rush my residence. Plus the drugs and the damn presidents. I'm not hesitant to commit gangland tactics. Got a room specially wrapped in plastic for Saran. I'm Oregon like I was a Nicaraguan. I'm a contraband in 50 states in 2 countries. Steady spending my hustle from Monday to Sunday. Gotta keep the money coming in or it's curtains. Hurting the competition, leaving them in a free. Sworn to spend majority to match the chest of right in the hard top. You know the marks fly, but I'ma continue to mix my ass from a fire pot. And you can't get over on me if I was high or not. I'ma watch you niggas riding the street, man. Like me to see if I keep my heat, man. You gon' continue to hold a grudge like the prosecutor and the judge. I push fudge and my family only got it, so I trust and bust 50 at those who wanna try to cross us. I'll be running slash from here to Japan. No money, no comprending. A person from the Black Mexican. Moving every day on your tracks, man. Important, extorting money laundering. I'll be running slash from here to Japan. No money, no comprending. A person from the Black Mexican. They don't really understand. Label me a contraband. Ever since first days, I put my hands in control substance. Hustle to advance, but not to lack. Trying to earn me a platinum plaque. Smoking Vegas back to back. I'm in, no. Carrying fully automatics attached to extendos. Never giving up info. info, building up my credentials. Living in residential, sacrifice only the bare essentials. Running off at the dentals that had you in ballistics in my section. Slip in and out without protection, but still got question. Cops was on me 2 years in a new identity, which protection. I told that neglected. The fact that I'm a victim of the ghetto. Where I'm from, we don't tell it. We sell the shit with heavy metal. Put my foot to the pedal when the HBD is right behind me. Rich and rare, call us Rossi Robbie. All in the niggas' face. Everywhere we go, we bring the pain. I just heard a word that my older cousin pulled chain. I'll be running slants from here to Japan. No money, no caprinted. They purchased from the black Mexican. Moving you every day on your tracks, man. Import, extorting, money laundering. I'll be running slants from here to Japan. No money, no caprinted. They purchased from the black Mexican. Moving you every day on your tracks, man. Import, extorting, and money laundering. I'll be running slants from here to Japan. No money, no caprinted. They purchased from the black Mexican. Moving you every day on your tracks, man. Import, extorting, and money laundering.
He's from OKC. That dude's from OKC.
Nah, that's Kansas City right there. Shout out to my Kansas City Gritters. Nah, that's that old school 90s Kansas City right there. Richter Factor. I don't know if you know anything about Richter Factor. But Richter Factor is do you know Tech 9? Have you ever heard of Tech 9 from Kansas City?
Yeah, I know Tech 9.
So he from Kansas City also, but he be kind of on some he a rapper too from Kansas City though. He don't really rap like Tech 9 though, but he kind of you know was real connected with the Bay and stuff like that. San Francisco, Oakland niggas and shit like that. But what I'm first to bring is get this going. Is some letters. I'm tripping. I'm on the wrong screen. Tripping. Some letters about so the correspondence concerning the return from Mexico to the United States of Seminole Negro Indians. Now, just like I say, you know, some people have a problem with me, and I guess certain people saying that we Indians, or that that my peoples was Indians, or that's kind of what we went by. They want me and other people to just erase the Seminole and the Indian part right there. They want me to just erase that and just say Negro. You know what I'm saying? Which I am doing more research within the Seminole, and the more I'm doing more research into the Seminole, yeah, it was black people that did come from plantations, but that's kind of more later in the game, as far as in like the 20s and the teens, 30s, but not too many. It was a lot that was kind of born within within the villages and stuff like that, which I'm gonna get to more of those primary sources later in the game. But right now, we at 1870, and this whole little bill is how the government, or I wouldn't say the government, but yeah, the government, the different departments were trying to well, it seemed like that the people that was down in Texas, they was trying to get my peoples back to Oklahoma, but people in other departments, they was kind of disrespecting the situation and stuff like that, which you will hear within the sources, how some say, well, you should have just let them stay in Mexico. And uh, some try to call them, just Negroes and stuff like that, try to disrespect them that way. But then it's a lot of times within these sources where they damn near basically just damn near called them an Indian. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, I guess, some people may try to play with the terminology and stuff like that. But my thing is, they push this that, people was called, that the black people was calling themselves Africans and stuff like that since the 1700s. And just like I say, yeah, I'm pretty sure some Africans did come through, but I do believe, uh, that black people was already over here. Um, and once they did bring other black people over here, that um, they just got this put in one little group, and things got kind of mislabeled. So in the 1870s, you see that they were still calling them Indians, but then once they came back to Oklahoma, it changed to freedmen. So it's more of a political thing. I think it's more of a, I'm gonna dig more into that story. But from right now, it looks like that it was more political um, to just categorize the black people all in one, and really not show an emphasis of where different black people come from at that time. So let me get into this first little bring this up. So this is August 15th, 1870. The Department of the Interior. So I guess this is a package. I guess this is like one of their little UPS packages or whatever. And it looks like that it's from Townsend, the Adjutant General. And this is August, so that he received. Well, this came from Townsend. He received it on the 15th, and it's dated the 13th of August, 1870. And the subject is refers to. Let me zoom in one more time. Bring that back. Okay. Do. Okay. Refers to sundry. We don't know what that is right there. Refers to copies of papers received from officers of the Army related to Indian affairs. The Cheyennes, the Arapahoes, the Cowries. I forgot how they say that Indian. The Comanches and the Kickapoos and the Seminole Negroes in Texas. And I think this is the others in Wyoming. So this is what this whole little package is about. What we first to get into, that's just kind of the front. So we're gonna come to this one. Let me just do this like here and stop playing with it. Okay, so this is coming from the War Department, Washington, D.C., Washington City, September 29th, 1870. And it says, Sir, referring to the communications addressed to you on the 13th, you don't know what that word is. I'll zoom in on it. I'm not sure if anybody else can recognize this word. This word right here on the 13th. I'm just kind of get back to it. Referring to the communications addressed to you on the 13th. Enclosing copy of a letter from the commander of Fort Duncan, Texas, related to the Seminole Negro Indians who are about to return from Mexico to the United States. I have the honor to inform you I have the honor to inform you that the said commanding officer has now applied for authority to pay the I don't know what that word is, Turge from Pedro's Negros to Fort Duncan and the custom duties on the stock and other property of Gopher John's band. So Gopher John is John Horse. He was the one that went down to they ended up being a leader once they ended up going down to Mexico with Wildcat. But as there is no appropriation at the service of the department which appears to be applicable to the case, it is hoped that the Indian Bureau may be able to defray the comparatively small expense attended upon the arrival of the band. So they still calling these group of black people band like Indians, and this is the people in the army. Okay, the application has this day been made to the Treasury Department for a remission of the duties or a suspension of their COL. COL location. Should any authority for such action he wasted in the honor secretary of he vested in the honorable secretary of the treasury early consideration of the written subject is earnest requested very respectfully your obedient servant secretary of war. We'll be able to find out his name for that time. I ain't gonna look it up right now, but I guess I'll do another build on that as far as these certain Secretary of War people, these certain people that's writing these letters, kind of dig more into them. But that's the Secretary of War that wrote that, the Honorable Secretary, and I guess this is going to the Secretary of the Interior. So that's that. As you see, that they are, they're not saying African. I don't know why they wouldn't be saying African if African was the term that they was using for certain people. But we first to dig a little bit more into this. Scroll down. What this said. Okay, hold on. We refer to, I'm not really sure what that is. Report to what funds and how can be used in. Okay, I really can't get that. I really ain't tripping on that. Okay, so this is the next little UPS or Western Union, whatever they was express. So this is got Seminole at the top, Department of Interior. So that other one was September. They received it on September 15th, dated September 13th. They received it September 30th, so a couple of weeks later. It's dated the 20th from the Secretary of War. So I guess that's what we just read. asks if Indian Bureau would defray expenses attending return from Mexico of Seminole Negro Indians and Gopher John's band. So that's interesting. So that's probably a misprint. And that's probably I really can't say it's a misprint, but you got Gopher John's band, which is already black people, but then you got the Seminole Negro Indians. So uh, them was black people too, but it was also um Indians, but you would call some Indians also. Um, but we first to dig a little bit deeper into this, but this is the I guess the cover letter sheet. Uh, Respectful to the commander of the Indian Affairs for report A to what funds on hand can be used for the purpose indeed above. Okay, so it's about the funds. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, so let's go to the next page, see what it's talking about. So this is October 30th. I mean, no, this is October 3rd, 1870. The Department of Interior, Office of Indian Affairs, Washington, D.C. Okay, sir, I have the honor to acknowledge the receipt by reference from your department of a letter of the Honorable Secretary of War on the 29th, the Ultima, uh, based upon one from the commander of Fort Duncan relative to the expenses of Seminole Negro Indians who are about to return from Mexico to the United States, whereas the Honorable Secretary of War that there is no appropriation at the service of his department appears to be applicable to the case and hopes that the Indian Bureau may be able to defray the compartment. I don't even know that word. I ain't supposed to trip on it. Small expenses attended upon the arrival of the band, upon which you request a report as to what funds on hand can be used for the purpose. In rely, I have to say that there are only appropriation at the disposal of this. In reply, I have to say that the only appropriation at the disposal of the burial that will cover the case in question is one of $20,000 made at the last suspense of Congress to enable the Secretary of the Interior to collect bands of Kickapoo or other Indians moving on the borders of Texas and Mexico, and to locate and subsist them in the interior in the Indian Territory. See Act approved July 15th, 1870. Very respectfully, your obedient servant, Acting Commissioner. So it looks like that now it didn't got to somebody else where they asking for the $20,000 to be able to send. Well, I guess it was already some put down where $20,000 was going to be given to collect what was going to be given to the Secretary of the Interior to collect the bands of Kickapoos or other Indians roaming on the borders of Texas. So they considered my peoples or these, the black Seminole Indians to be Indians. Uh, Even though they call them Negroes, but that I would say that's the mislabeling once the war ended, where everybody is just Negro, everybody just coming from Africa. Um, so I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like, why wouldn't they just be saying Africa if they been saying stuff like Ethiopia and uh, Guinea and uh, Angola? They've been saying all these different little terms where people come from, but they not saying it. But we also gonna see within these letters where they gonna say basically, shit. If y'all don't take them, if y'all don't basically, because it's gonna be some pushback on getting them to Oklahoma. So then they gonna say, well, shit. If y'all ain't gonna take them to Oklahoma, y'all need to take them back to fucking Florida, where they come from. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's another story also. But I just wanted to put that out there. We're gonna go to some other pages. And I guess this is going to the secretary. So this is from the acting commissioner saying that they got 25,000 for the Kickapoos and the roaming Indians on the borders of Texas. So let's go to the next page. Okay, so we got the Department of Interior Office, Indian Affairs, October 3rd, 1870. So that's the same day. Acknowledge receipt by reference from Interior Department of a letter from the Honorable Secretary War dated 29th to expense of Seminole Negro Indians from Mexico to USA, hoping the Indian Bureau may be able to defray the same act commission's reports in regards to the matter. So the Indians Affairs is dealing with these Negroes. So I'm not sure if Indian Affairs was dealing with any other blacks at this time, as far as like, because I guess it was kind of like blacks that was doing things on the East Coast, as far as like in Philadelphia and up north and stuff like that. So I don't know if, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I got to dig a little bit deeper into that, but it's just interesting that, that they was down in Florida doing what they was doing for a long time. And just like I say, yeah, there is evidence of some blacks did come from um, on plantations in Florida, but that was late in the game. That was once they kind of was able to come down there, but it was already black Indians down there before the English was just coming down there setting up their little plantations like that. But let's keep it moving. We stroll down a little bit more. Is anything else on here? So reports letter. Okay, nothing else. Let's go to the next page. So look like we got another cover sheet. Department of Interior. So this is September 13th. So before we was in the 70s, so that was October 3rd, 1870. So that was about having $25,000 to be able to send to the Interior of Indian Affairs for the travel for Kickapoo and other Indians on the border of Texas. So now we in September 13th, 1872. So it's 2 years to pass. This is coming from the Secretary of War. And the subject in regard to the paying for subsidies of Indians out of my appropriation Negro Seminole. So this is a big deal. the payment for these particular Indians, Negro Seminoles. So you see that they calling them Seminoles. You know what I'm saying? That's that's what they calling them. They calling them Seminole Negroes, or Negro Seminoles, or Seminole Negro Indians. That's the label that they put on them. As you see, that's what some of them. We know it's gonna be like one of them that's gonna just disrespect them and just just try to say that they just niggas, that they ain't woo woo woo, but they gonna make a difference also whenever they point out their cases as far as getting them aid to be able to get to where they need to be to take care of themselves. But let me stop talking. Let me read. Uh, so this is more of the cover letter sheet. Uh, why I keep doing that? So Negro Seminoles, September 14th, 72, respectfully referred to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs for his views. So they excuse me. So they sent in this letter. So it been 2 years. Ain't nobody really bust a move or nothing. Ain't nobody said no. Ain't nobody said yay. Ain't nobody said nay. Uh, so it been 2 years. So they done sent a letter out to get somebody else views about this. So let's see what this next letter's talking about. Bring that back. Okay, so this is coming from the headquarters, Department of Texas, Office Chief Commissionary Subsidies, San Antonio, Texas, August 5th, 1872. Okay, so, sir, I have the honor to call the attention of the commanding general to the fact, that upon the we we question for subsidies stores from Fort Duncan for the third and fourth quarter of 1872. A call is made for $22,080 of rations for issues to Seminole Negro Indians. So this is just the main. This is just. I mean, that's their label. That's their label. We're gonna hear this consistently throughout their writings. It's Seminole Negro Indians. They Indians. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get deeper into it. The General Orders number 54, War Department Series of 1872 forbids regular, daily, or periodical issues of subsidies to Indians. So now it look like it's some pushback. Hold on, let me go back to this. So for the third quarter, a call is made for. Okay, so they asked for that money for issues. Okay, so they asked for that 22,000 to be issued. The general orders, okay, but they got a little pushback because they trying to say, the general orders from this number 54 forbids regular, daily, or periodical subsidies. And I guess they just put that little bill in because it's 1872. So that's 2 years later. Forbids regular, daily, or periodical issues of subsidies to Indians. So they cutting off feeding Indians. So very respectful, very respectfully, your obedient servant signed Samuel D. Cushing, Captain and CCS. Um, so Cushing, I wonder if that got something to do with the town Cushing, that person right there. It probably do. I'm gonna have to look into that. There's a town called Cushing in Oklahoma. So Assistant Adjutant General Department of Texas. Okay, so we got that person. He's sending it to the Department of Texas, I guess, or I don't know. I really ain't caught that yet. Okay, let's go to the next page. As you see, okay, so this must be the letter that they're talking about. Okay, just the general orders. Okay, see what they're talking about. Yeah, come on, get the fuck up off of there. Okay. General Orders number 54. War Department, Adjutant General Office, Washington, June 25th, 1872. So this is what they're talking about. In future, let me bring this up a little closer. In future, no issues or no no issues of rations or supplies will be made from the Army stores to Indians, except as followed and restricted in the following paragraphs of the revised regulations of the Army of 1863. Okay. 1202. When subsistence can be spared from the military supplies, the commanding officer is authorized to allow its issue in small quantities to Indians visiting military posts on the frontiers or in their respective nations. The return for this issue shall be signed by the Indian agent where there is one present and approved by the commanding officer of the post or station. So you got to be an Indian to be able to get these subsidies. So we got, damn, man, that's it, guy. Okay, so we got 12. So we got 1203. Regular, daily, or periodical issues of subsidies to Indians or issues of subsidies in bulk to Indian agents for the use of Indians are forbidden by order of the Secretary of War, E.D. Townsend, Adjutant General. What it do? What it do? No, let me. Okay. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, so that's the letter. That's the order. So they wouldn't be getting this if they was Indians. I mean, they would just say, well, shit, nigga, y'all just some niggas. Y'all just got to do whatever y'all got to do. But they recognizing them as Indians because, I mean, I guess they recognize them from Florida like that. I guess they respect them like that from Florida, which, I mean, which I didn't put out, I guess, two little videos. The one with the, uh, definitely. Uh, about the first part of the Seminole War, where I had the movie playing in the background, and I was and I was letting the book read from his perspective of that time, and as you see, it was a lot of love for the black people at that time. It was a lot of leadership roles they was playing. I'm gonna say playing, but they had within that land or whatever they was doing. And then with the General Jessup diary, in a journal that I just put out, uh, as you can see that it was a couple things that stood out as you seeing now, Indian Negroes. Um, they was also saying within that journal, Negro chiefs, and also how Negroes was in possession of Indians. So these is coming from people that's fighting against these people that's in the army, people that's real alpha males during that time. So um, I'm not really sure why they just, I never seen African in none of these writings, but we're gonna dig more into it. Let's kind of scroll down, see what else is on here. I think it's something at the bottom. Okay, so we got the first endorsement. So this must be a reply. The first endorsement, Headquarters Department of Texas, San Antonio, August 2nd, 1972. So it looks like that the first one, I guess what we just read was in September. So this is August 2nd, 1872, not 19, my bad. Okay, so respectfully refer to the commanding officer, Fort Duncan, for for information as to the necessary for the feeding these Indians and what authority it has been done and what authority it has been done. Can I make that bigger? No, it's too big. Okay. Hold on, is that too big? Hold on, can get that in there. No, I can't get that in there. Okay. So refer to the information necessary for the feeding of these Indians. The feeding of these Indians, like I said, they just don't just flat out and just call them Indians. You know what I'm saying? So uh I think it's gonna be one little general or one little person that's gonna kind of disrespect them and say they niggas and kind of go in on them and stuff like that because the fact that he really don't want to do nothing for the niggas, don't want to basically disrespect the niggas, even though that the niggas brought the niggas out here and all this type of shit. But they little plan didn't work. You know what I'm saying? They thought that they was gonna be able to talk us to sleep once we get out here. That they, even though they couldn't enslave us, certain ones in Florida that can say that they did come from certain white people, I guess. Um, for the ones that didn't really have slave owners and stuff like that, I guess once they got to Oklahoma, they was just gonna raid them and just get them like that. In which they did. A lot of kids and a lot of people did get gaffled up, and that's why it's so crazy because our numbers ain't what it is, what it's supposed to be. And niggas got cousins out there in different places. Nigga got cousins out there in different places, man. So uh hopefully when I do my genealogy, I know my grandpa did the genealogy and he was telling me about a whole bunch of stuff that was going on the East Coast that was kind of I was like, damn, that was kind of crazy. I said we connected to some people over there, but it's like I say, it been so much things going on as far as slave race within the family or within our little band or just with black Indians within America. You know what I'm saying? People got broken up and it's just been a lot of crazy stuff. The stories is crazy, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep it going. It's like I say, what it say, for feeding these Indians. So that's what they called them. So we're gonna keep it going. Get up out of this too little bit too big. Pause. Okay. Dang, I thought I was in there. Has been done by command of General Ogur. Okay, the acting assistant adjutant general. So this is the acting the general. This is the acting assistant adjutant general. So this is an assistant general. And he's calling them Indians. So he called them Indians, and this is on the same order report. So we're gonna go to the next page. So it looks like that we got a second endorsement. I guess this is the second reply. So this is at the headquarters of Fort Duncan. That last one was at San Antonio. This is on August the 12th. I think that last one on August the 9th. Respectfully returned to the assistant adjutant land department of Texas. Report and close sign. So I guess he just forwarding the letter. So that's Marion, the commander in post, I guess, for the Major 24th Infantry. So I guess this is just saying how he put his hands on it and he forwarded it. He read it and he forwarded it. So now we got the headquarters. Okay, so it's at the same date. 12th. Okay, August 12th. Okay, same date. Assistant General. Text. Okay, so I guess this is the letter part. Okay, sir. In reply to your endorsement of the 6th instant upon a letter of the uh, of a commissioner of substance relative to a re a requestion forwarded from this post for subsistence supplies for issues to Seminole Negro Indians. I have to I have the honor to report as follows. The authority under which regular issues have been made to these Indians, therefore, is a letter dated Headquarters, Department of Texas, May 21st, 1870. These Seminole Negro Indians were encouraged to return from Mexico in the spring of 1870 with the view of their return to. So that's crazy. So as you see, they steady calling them Seminole Negro Indians. Bring this back up a little bit. So this is about the subsidies. I guess they brought up a letter from May 21st, 1870. So as we see that we was encouraged to come back from Mexico in the spring of 1870 because they did promise us, well, with the view to their return to, let's go to the next page, their return to their original home with the Creeks, and a correspondence was had by the Honorable Secretary of War with a view to having the expenses incurred in gathering and feeding them to borne by the Department of the Interior. The Honorable Acting Secretary of the Interior replied by the letter dated October 4th, 1870, that an appropriation of $25,000 was at the disposal of the department for that purpose. This letter, together with one similar important from the acting commissioner of Indian Affairs, seems to have been furnished the commanding General Department of Texas by copy from the Adjutant General Office under date October 10th, 1870, and doubtless is now on file. Regular issues have been made to these Indians constantly under the above authority, the issues being borne on a separate abstract with a view to reimbursement by the Department of Interior from the appropriation above referred to. In my opinion, a session of these issues without considerable notice at least would drive these people to e- illit- e- illicit illegitimate 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 means for support, if not to return to the Mexican side, where they would possibly be more troublesome than before. They have been encouraged to remain together and have made very little preparation for supporting themselves. Okay, this is crazy. So, um, so they saying they got 25,000 for them to move. They calling them Indians. They just flat out just saying just Indian. They ain't even put nothing else on. They just said straight Indian. Uh, right here, the regular issues have been made to these Indians as far as they've been. Okay, so since 1870, since they had told these people to come back in, they've been feeding them consistently. Uh, So I guess now they got to a time to where they trying to get them up out of there. They ain't got enough appropriation for them to go on now, and they trying to get them to somewhere else. Matter of fact, they're trying to get them to the Indian Territory where they were so called with the Creek. Um, and as you see, they explaining that they called them from Texas because they knew if they didn't call them from Texas, they would be more troublesome. So basically, they're gonna be causing problems still. They still big boys in the game. So, and they also saying that they had made very little preparation for supporting themselves. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next page. Supported themselves outside of the government's aid, as they have been consistently expecting removal to their northern homes. So for 2 years, man, that's crazy. So they just sent in the word from Mexico. Niggas is big chilling on the other side of the border. Hold on, let me take a drink real quick. Hold on. So we big chilling on the other side of the border down in Mexico. I guess the Mexicans is paying us to patrol their border. Uh, they tell us to come back over. That we're gonna send y'all back with y'all family in the Indian Territory. Um, I guess the people already said they're gonna do it because they already thinking that they got 25,000 to support that travel. Uh, and as you see, they calling them Indians. I ain't seen nothing about African or nothing like that. They are saying Negro. I guess were they making a difference or whatever between an Indian and a Negro, but at the same time, um, they giving us the label Indian for the simple fact that that's how we moving, that's how that's the language that we speaking, that's what we doing. All right, so let me go into it. Let's spark this out real quick. Okay, I did not. I did not construct General Orders number 54 as applying to these Indians. Okay, I did not construct General. Okay, so we got this right here where he's saying that I did not construct, constrict. I don't know if anybody can see what this word is because it's kind of construct. I did not construct generals. Okay, so I guess he didn't use it. So I guess he didn't use that order uh, as far as because he have been paying. I mean, not paying, but he have been feeding. So I guess with that order, they were saying, "Don't be feed no, what I'm saying, but no Indians." But just like you said, he did not construct the general's order as applied to these Indians. Once again, they call them Indians as they were being fed, and they were being fed, as I understood it, by an arrangement with the Interior Department, and not as the expense of War Department. So basically, this is about who paying for it. So the Interior Department and the War Department is tripping on who is gonna split the bill for these niggas. You know what I'm saying? So I see somebody pushing some pushback because they're saying about this General Orders number 54, how no Indians were supposed to be getting assistance, but they was getting assistance the whole time. But they was getting assistance because they know that they giving them major trouble down there on their border, or that they could give them major trouble if things don't go right. But let me keep it moving. It is recommended that issues be continued at least until a correspondence can be had with the Honorable Secretary of the Interior in relations to them. I am very respectful. Your obedient servant, Henry Marion. Um, so once again, This dude, Marion, he giving it up. He calling these niggas Indians. This nigga is part of the infantry. He in the field, and he calling these niggas Indians, saying that we need to continue to feed them. We need to continue to keep them cool on our side. So now we got a third reply, the third endorsement. What somebody got to say about the situation. Hopefully they not hating. They trying to help. But as you see, it may be some hate going on also. Yeah, what's up with this black spot? I need to get up out of there. Okay. So the third endorsement, headquarters, Department of Texas. So this is going back to San Antonio. This is August 15th, 72. Come on, that's crazy. Respectfully forward to the Adjutant General, Adjutant General, Interior Department of Headquarters recommended that the rations be issued to these Indians. Come on, they calling these niggas Indians again, man. Come on. This is who this? This is a general. The commander general. Come on, man. I don't know what that nigga name is. Agur. Come on, man. That nigga didn't even put the Negro on in the nut. That nigga just called nigga Indian off top. All right, let's go to the next page. So that's the third endorsement. They're trying to push it through. So these is the people that's down there with them. So that's coming from the people in Texas. So we got the fourth endorsement headquarters, MIL division, like Missouri, Chicago. So this is in Chicago. This is August 24th, 1872. Just a week later. Respectfully forwarded, highly approving the recommendations of the general. Okay, so he approving it. Sheridan, Lieutenant General commanding. So Lieutenant General saying, hey, that's gonna push that through. That's gonna just keep feeding them subsidies, or that's gonna get them back to the Indian territory. So we got the fifth endorsement. Adjutant General Office. So this is in Washington, D.C., August 25th. So August 28th, 72, respectfully referred to the Commissionary General of Subsidies for remarks and closing papers upon which the issues are reported as being based. So he want to see what's up. So he trying to see. So now we got a sixth endorsement. So this is in DC. Okay, so the first nigga in DC really just didn't stamp it. He wanted to pass it on to somebody else. So we got the sixth endorsement office. Okay, so first it went to the Adjutant General Office. Now it's at the Office Commissionary General Subsidies on September 3rd, a week later. Respectfully returned to the Adjutant General USA, recommending that the issues of rations to these Indians from Army surplus be not authorized. He's shutting it down. Who this whole ass nigga? Sharice, the acting commanding general's subsidies. So the general that's over the subsidies, he's saying no, not be authorized. But then this nigga calling them Indians. Rations to these Indians from Army supplies be not authorized, and that there can be brought to the attention of the. So they saying, nigga, go to the Indian Bureau. Nigga, don't bring this shit over here to me. Go to the Indian Bureau. So he the first one to be that ain't stamping it. He like, man, no, that's wicked. So that came on the sixth endorsement. So he's saying, no, let's go to the next page. Okay, the Adjutant General Office, Washington, September 6, 72, official copy. Okay, so this is just the official copy. Okay. Anything at the bottom? Okay, what they're saying at the bottom. For the Honorable Secretary, okay. I'm going to go to the next page. That ain't nothing. Okay. So we still in DC. A week later, War Department, Washington DC. So the last man shut it down. Sharon, whatever his name is, he shut it down. The General of the Commissions of Subsidies. So he shut it down. Hold on. To the Honorable and Secretary of the Interior. Okay, sir. I deem it my duty again to bring to the attention of your department the fact that the appropriation of this department and insufficient to meet the demands of the Army, particularly in regards to subsidies and also to supply rations to Indians. By pursuing the copies, uh, enclosed copies, of authority. I don't know what that is. Oh, come on now, that's wicked. Apart from the Department of Texas, copies of copies of something, a prop something from the Department of Texas. You will believe, you will relieve, you will believe that the subsidies appropriation of the Army and burdened with the maintenance of a number of Seminole Negro Indians who were induced to return from Mexico in the spring of 1870 with the view of their prominent Damaso with the Creek. So they permanent something with the Creek in this country. And that arrangement were made with your department where it is appropriations should be borne to the expenses of gathering and feeding them. They are now being subsidies from Army supplies, contrary to the interest of the military service, which will not admit of the customs of feeding these Indians from the and commission it, and I am therefore constrained to request that you will direct the Indian Department to take immediate measures for their future for their future subsidies as this department must cease to furnish them with supplies. Respectfully, your obedient servant, Secretary of War. So we got the Secretary of War. We got the Secretary of War saying for the future subsidies as this department must cease to furnish them with supplies. So they're trying to cut it off. They're trying to cut it off. So once they hit DC, they saying no. It's in 72. Yeah, this is in 72. So we got the Secretary of War and we got the Commissionary General of Subsidies saying, no, don't feed them. Nah, really, they said, no, don't feed these Indians. They said they just calling them Indians. Yeah, they just flat out just calling them Indians. Oh, that's wicked. Hold on. That's wicked. I gotta try to bring this up. Hold on, real quick. My bad, my bad. Had a little technical issue. We first to bring it back. Okay, so we got the Department of Interior, Office of Indian Affairs, Washington, D.C., September 23rd, 1872. So the last two people in D.C. shot it down. We got the Secretary of War, and we also got the Commission General of Subsidies turning it down in D.C. But one thing that they are doing, they calling them Indians. Excuse me. So they calling them Indians. Okay. So now we fit to get to this letter right here, sir. I have the honor to acknowledge the receipt by reference from the Department of Letters from the Honorable Secretary of War under date of the 12th instant and closing copies of reports from military officers related to issues of rations made by the Subsistence Department of the Army to a number of Seminole Negro Indians who were induced to return from Mexico to Texas in the spring of 1870 with a view to them their permanent uh, domicile with the Creek. The Honorable Secretary asks that immediate steps be taken by the Indian Department for future support. Okay, so so they really just they shut it down on their end, so they saying go to the Indian Department for that. Don't come to the War Department, go to the Indian Department for that. And that's crazy that they saying go to the Indian Department to deal with some Negroes. Okay, but Negroes and Indians. Well, these Negroes ain't. I ain't saying that all of them, but I'm saying that these Negroes was already here and was found in these places and didn't be a part of the Seminoles by coming off a farm. They was already coming off a plantation. They was already born in the village, being in the village, being in Florida, which we're gonna dig more deeper into that pause to be able to get a clear vision. But from what we're getting right now, 1870, they are being labeled and referred to as Indians by generals and by people within the army and government, and it just seemed like a couple of years later that they are going to be called freedmen. So that's crazy. So let's go to the next page of these Indians, and no further issues from army supplies will be made to them. So they saying ain't gonna be no issues from the army supplies. You got to get them from the Indian supplies. In compliance with your request for the views of this office and the premises, I have the honor to submit the following report. So let's look at this report. On the 1st October 1870, a reference was made to the office from the Department of a letter from the Honorable Secretary of War dated September 29th of that year relating to expenses to be incurred in the removal of said Indians from Mexico to United States, where the Honorable Secretary stated that there were no appropriations at the service of his department which appeared to be applicable and express the hope that this bureau would be able to defray the expense attendance upon said removal. On the receipt of this reference, and in response to a request from information as to what fund them on hand could be used for this purpose in question, the Secretary of the Interior was advised by the office report of October 3rd, 1870, that the only appropriation on the books of the Bureau available in the case was one of $25,000 made in the year of 1870, volume 16, page 359, to defray expenses of collecting bands of Kickapoo and other Indians roaming on the borders of Texas and Mexico, and to locate and subsist them in the Indian Territory. It appears from the reports above referred to that the Indians were actually removed, that is, to Fort Duncan, not to the Indian Territory. So it looks like they're trying to put a wrench in the game by trying to say that's probably why they're not approving the funds, because they not in the Indian Territory. They just got removed to Fort Duncan instead of being removed to the Indian Territory. And that regular issue of subsidies from the Commissioner of the Army have been made to them after their definitely some of my descendants is down there. I don't know if you know Chief Perryman. He one of the chiefs down there. He kind of be he's some type of leader within a little structure down there. You also have John Horace, Gopher John's descendants, where she in Florida, but she got a lot of descendants within that area. But yeah, they had just came up here to Oklahoma, I would say last summer, and they had because now we got the John Horace Highway, and They had a big little ceremony thing on the highway, and they all came down for the ceremony and stuff like that. So I was able to meet some of them and talk to them and yeah, and be able to meet the people down in Texas. But yeah, that's real, man. That's real talk. So said removal with the expectation that the cost thereof would be paid from the above named appropriation of $25,000. But upon a careful examination of the records of this time, it does not appear that any accounts for such issues have been received, nor that this office was approved, apprised, uh, appraised that an understanding had been made between the Department of the Interior and the War Department. So it looks like, hold on real quick. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. You know, I'm an open door to the family. Needed me real quick. But you see exactly where I was at. Okay, let me just start. Upon the careful examination of the records of this office, it does not appear that any accounts for such issues have been received, nor that this office was appraised, apprised. I'm not really sure what this word is right here. I don't know if y'all can figure that out. Apprised that an understanding had been made between the Department of the Interior and the War Department that said appropriations should be used in reimbursing the subsidies department for said issues. So they really tripping on who really got the who who gonna get paid back. Either the War Department or the Interior Department. Okay, so that's what this is about. Okay. Issues. Accounts from the War Department are, however, on file in the office for monthly issues of subsidy stores made to Indians in accordance with provisions of the 16th sections of the Act of June 30th, 1834. So they going back to 1834 about the subsidies as far as being made to the Indians. Um, okay. 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 1834, which accounts embrace charges from supplies furnished to Indians by the Commissionary Office. Okay, so this is about as far as from the War Department, how the War Department is getting their actions from the 1830 and they've been making to the stores. I mean, they've been making subsidy stores made to the Indians. Okay, so they've been a store to the Indians, the War Department. I guess they can say that that's going back to 1834. I guess they're saying they've been putting too much into them that, we'll go holler at somebody else or they need some reimbursements or something like that. We have to dig more into it. at Fort Duncan, Texas, but whether these stores were issued to the Negro Indians is questioned, and to no other is not apparent. Okay, so they questioning even if the Seminole Negroes even got the subsidies. Okay, so in DC, it seems like it's a little bit of pushback about what the generals in Texas are requesting. So, of the appropriation of $25,000 made in 1870 for collecting kickapoos and other Indians, there is now on land. Hold on, there is now on hand $21,104.61 besides the 40,000 appropriated in 1871 for the same purpose. Volume 16, page 569, making a total of $61,104.63 at the disposal of the Department of under said head of appropriations. Okay, so it's saying because they got 61,000. They're saying that it's for Kickapoos and other Indians that's on the border of Texas, but it looked like they're trying to exclude the Negro Indians, but they calling them Indians. They just ain't just excluding them because of saying that they not Indians or something like that. They just seem like they just kind of hating. Uh, so let's see what else. The above are the facts so far as they can be ascertained from our records. It remains to be decided whether the funds referred to are available for the subsidies of these. Okay, hold on. So the above are the facts so far as they can be. So as far as they can be as certain from our work from our records. It re, it remains to the decide. Okay, it remains to be decided whether the funds referred to are available for the subsidies of these Negro Indians in the present location. If not so available at present or for the future, it is respectfully suggested. So they kind of shooting it down. That's crazy. And they trying to find a loophole by saying that, okay, well, they was removed to Fort Duncan, not the Indian Territory. They should have been removed to the Indian Territory, and that was the funds was for, to be removed to the Indian Territory, not just for subsidies, because they trying to say that that general report in, I guess, 1854, or not 1854, but that number 54 general report is saying that Indians was not supposed to be getting any supplies, but they have been getting supplies since 1870. So I guess they trying to say, I guess somebody messed up by, I guess, not sending them to the Indian Territory. That's what the funds was for. But I guess that is used the funds just to feed them for that whole time. And it looks like that's the pushback that's coming from DC, because looks like this is all DC people right here. So respectfully suggested whether measures should not be taken to induce the Negroes to remove to the Indian Territory. So that's the first part where they just said Negroes uh, without putting the Indian or Seminole on it. So this is coming from DC. This is a little disrespect. Like I said, they pushing back on giving niggas assistance, even though that we had the biggest war with them down in Florida. They agreed. They sent us out here, but now they don't want to stick to the script and trying to play us. So induce these Negroes to remove to the Indian Territory, whereby a liberal construction of the Act of Appropriation here referred to, they may be but the temporary subsidies. Okay, so they're saying if we can get them to the Indian Territory, we got some subsidies for them up there. Uh, I find no information regarding the number of these Negro Seminoles. Very respectfully, your obedient servant. I think I'm not sure if that's Walker or Wallace. This is the commission. Looks like the commission. So this is to the Honorary Secretary of the Interior. So you're talking to the Interior. So this is all War Department people. You see, they called me. I mean, I guess he called him Negro at the top, but then he also said Negro Seminole. Uh, they trying to have some type of pushback on giving them subsidies to be able to help them out. So that's where we at right now. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Okay, so now it looks like that we have a Western Union. So we got the Indian Office, September 23rd, 1872, in reply to commissions from the Honorable Secretary of War on the 12th. Instructed relative to feeding. Okay, to the feeding by the Commission Department a number of Seminole Negroes who were induced to remove from Mexico into Texas. See the letter, okay, of the war, copy. Okay, so let's see what this talk about. Okay, so we got another couple of. Okay, so now, so that must have been a little postcard for the other letter. So now we got November 23rd. So we got about 2 months later. Got Seminole at the top, November 23rd. Whatever they received was on the 22nd. It's from the Secretary of War. In reply to Department letter of 28 September, last we close report not to remove of last and we close report not to removal of certain Seminole Indians to Indian Territory. So certain Seminole Indians. That's what they call them, certain Seminole Indians. So this is about the removal. Okay, so let's see if they're going to get the funding from the Interior Department. So we still in D.C., War Department, Washington, D.C., November 23rd. To the Honorable Secretary of the Interior. And Interior ain't sent back nothing. Did they even get it? Sir, in the absence of the Secretary of War, I have the honor to transmit to you a copy of a report concerning the wishes of certain Seminole Indians in Texas. Once again, they just call them Seminole Indians in Texas as regard their removal to the Indian Territory, which I'm not really sure what that word is, which the inquiring contained in your letter on the 28th September. Very respectfully, your obedient servant, Chief Clerk. So it looks like they're just questioning it. Okay, so no more bad. Let me get up out of there. Okay, so we got 7. So I guess we got some copies right here. Interior Department, September 28th, 1872. Referred to WD letter of 25 Indian of the subsidies of certain Seminole Negro Indians in Texas. Uh, One from the Commission of Indians Affairs asking that the commanding officer at Fort Duncan, Texas, be introduced cert, uh, to assertion whether said Indians will remove to the land of Indian Territory. Written request for its favorable consideration. Okay, okay, so we got an endorsement, War Department, Adjustment Ground Office, Washington, D.C. Okay, so October 15th, 1872. Official copies we respectfully refer through Headquarters Military Division of the Missouri to the commanding office Fort Duncan to obtain the importance desires of the Interior Department and communicating to the office by order of the Secretary of War. Signed. Okay. Respectfully transmitted through Headquarters Department of Texas for immediate report. By command of General Man, trying to get this black. Dang, that shit wicked. Okay, by command of Lieutenant General, signed. Okay, Fry, Assistant Adjutant General, Headquarters Department of Texas, San Antonio, Texas, October 19th. Respectfully refer to the commanding officers for Duncan for immediate report. Okay, so they're still looking for an update on if they're going to move them around. Headquarters of Fort Duncan, October 24th, so 5 days later. Respectfully returned. Attention is invited to my letter of August 12th, addressed to the AAG Department of Texas. Copy endorsed, in which is giving a synopsis of the history of the Seminole Negro Indians at this fort. They are willing and have been constantly expecting to remove to their Indian territory, and and that they were induced to return to the United States from Mexico in the spring of 1870 to enable them to move subsistence and some amount of transportation. Okay, to be made them to move subsistence and some amount of transportation will of course be needed for this aid and, necess- and necessary instructions. They have been waiting. Um, they've been waiting were this port were this fort for more than 2 years and have more than once manifested importance of the order and have more than once manifests the importance of the government. Okay, so Marion speaking up. Whoever this dude Marion is, the commanding dude, the major of the 24th century. Oh, you all good? You all good? Whoever this dude Marion is, he giving it up. He really trying to help us out. He really, I don't know if he really just trying to get us up out the fort, because there really ain't no love there, and he really trying to uh, express why he really trying to get us up out of there, or he just really got he just really got genuine love or something like that, man. But he really speaking up for us and really making a case for why we should be getting the assistance that we are requesting. So shout out to the major 24th infantry, Marion. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on him. So the next page, uh, got an endorsement. It's like, okay, headquarters Fort Duncan. So we got August 12th, 1872. General Department of Texas, sir. I had Okay, sir. In reply to your endorsement on the letter of the Chief Commissioner of Subsidence, uh, to an ultimate forward from this port for a supply of subsidies for and to Seminole Negro Indians. Hold on, let me bring that back. That sounds crazy. In reply to your that's I cannot read it. In reply to your endorsement on the letter of the Chief Commissioner of Subsistence, not I don't know what that word is, to an alt to an to an intimate forward from this post for a supply of subsidies for some to the Seminole Negro Indians. I have the honor to report as follows: the authority under which enter. That's the same word as some. I don't know what that is. Relative to. Oh, relative to. Okay, relative to the. Okay, relative to the intimidated forward. I can't figure that out. The authority under which issue. Okay, to authority which issues have been made to this party. Therefore, is a letter dated Headquarters Department of Texas, May 23rd, 1870. These Seminole Negro Indians were encouraged to return to their state from Mexico. Man, why I keep doing that, man? Okay, these Seminole Negro Indians were encouraged to return to this state from Mexico in the spring of 1870 with a view to their return to their original home with the Creeks and correspondence war had by the Honorable Secretary of War with a view to having the expense incurred in gathering and feeding them borne by the Department of Interior. The Honorable Acting Secretary of the Interior replied by letter dated October 4th, 1870, that appropriation of $25,000 were at the disposal of that department for that purpose. So why they just didn't take them back then? Nigga, what? Damn, niggas had the money back then. Niggas should have just took the niggas. Interior 25 purpose. This for the purpose. This letter, together with one of similar importance from the acting commission of Indian Affairs, seems to have been furnished the Commissioner General Department of Texas by copy from the Adjutant General Office under date and doubtless is now on file. On regular issues have been made to these Indians. Once again, they just calling them Indians. So it's okay. Constantly under the above authority, the issues being born. I don't know what that word is right here. Boom, born. The issues being the issues being on a appropriate abstract with a view of reimbursement by the Department of Interior from the appropriations above referred to. Okay, so the War Department thinking they're gonna get their money back from the Department of Interior because the Interior of Indian said that they already had their $25,000, but I don't know if they still got the $25,000 because it looks like that they. They must ain't got it because whenever they tried to get them to the Indian Territory, when they just sent it up there to them, they said, I guess they didn't have. I guess they didn't have. I don't know why they just didn't spend the $25,000 and why they got to send the letters to DC if they already got the $25,000 and they asking for money from the War Department. So I don't know. I'm kind of confused right there. But let me continue. By the Department of Interior for the appropriation of referred to. In my opinion, a certain of their issues without considerable notice at least would drive these people to illegitimate means of support, if not to a return to Mexican side, where they would possibly be more troublesome than before. So that was the move. That's why they wanted to get them from Mexico because they didn't want to deal with them like that. Uh, Okay, troublesome there before. They have been encouraged to remain together and have been made very little and have made very little preparations for supplying themselves outside of the government aid, and they have been constantly expecting removal to their northern homes. For 2 years, they've been expecting a nigga to go. These niggas done called a nigga up in the spring of 1870. Now we in the damn fall of 1872. These niggas still ain't got these niggas home. Okay, I did not construct the 54. Okay, that's the same. That the General Order 54 and applying to these Indians as they were being fed as as I understood as I understood it by the arrangement with the Interior Department and not at the expense of the War Department. So whoever that was giving them the subsidies, they thought that this was at the expense of the Interior Department, not the War Department. So I don't even if the Interior Department saying they got the 25,000, I don't even know. So did they just use the 25,000 just to feed them for them 2 years, and they ran up out of that money? Or I'm not really sure why they reaching out to the War Department. For real. But I guess the War Department being, I don't know if they want to be refunded because they've been feeding Indians for a long time. I don't know. It is recommended that the issues be continued at least until correspondence can be had with the Honorable Secretary of Interior, excuse me, and stations to them. So I am very respectfully your obedient servant, Marion again. Mary, man, this dude Marion, man, married newly Harry Marion, man, he's speaking up for real. He really trying to get the job done. Uh, like he really putting in a solid case. So we got the fifth endorsement, headquarters Department of Texas, San Antonio, August 28th. Respectfully return to the adjutant. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Army through division headquarters. Okay, so I guess he just moved it. So we got the sixth person that touched it. Respectfully return. So now it's back in Chicago. So it done left Texas and down there where they was at. So now we in Chicago with it. November, respectfully return to the adjutant of the armies. Recommended that these Indians be removed to the Indian church. Okay, so it seems like the dude in Chicago, he all with it. He ain't tripping. He all for it. He wasn't tripping on the last one. He going from whatever they talking about down in Texas. So now I done got to DC. See what these whole ass niggas got to say. They been tripping. They was tripping. So before we get to this, I'm fixed to put in a little break real quick because I've been reading for about 2 hours straight. So let me give me a little drink break real quick. Take me a little 2 minute, little 3 minute break real quick. And one moment. My bad. I'm getting a dry mouth. But yeah, this is very interesting. Just like I say, they are consistently, calling them either, some of them Indians, some is calling them Seminole Negro Indians. One person only called him just a Negro. At this point, it's all coming from DC with kind of more negative. Excuse me. It seems like that the dude down in Texas, the dude Marion, he really trying to push the issue. As far as
you found a new hobby.
As far as putting in a legit case of why we should be still getting subsidies and why we should still be getting assistance and stuff like that. So this is very interesting. This is definitely very interesting story right here. Hold on real quick. Yes, like I say, this is definitely very interesting. I'm going to take a small little break so I can give me something to drink and refresh so I can be a better reader on the second part of this story. So we first to check out The Hustler. I don't know if y'all know about The Hustler from the Mob Figures. Slapper right here.
Hey, yo, man, sometimes I be feeling crazy, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if niggas be having the same feelings I be having, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, 5, 6, 7 in the morning, man, fresh off 24, man. I'm just a young nigga, man. You know what? Look what my life been turned into. Yo, I make music for killers that make music. Show them how they come ill to order the crack deal. It's what I mastered in my younger days of hustling, man. Fucking bitches, stomping snitches, clocking riches. Burning rubber, cooking work. That was like my biggest drop. I was in the 10th grade. That was nice. Not quite enough for me to stop mixing white. So I kept grooving. Young Felix kept moving. Next thing you know, I was 17 whole units. Hella cream stacking stupid. Hella bitches, oral sex, dumb, ridiculous. Never fuck them, just get sucked, take them from they niggas. On a tuck out of state, baby, dumping chickens. Then a bombshell dropped on my life. Dan G got murdered, this is not the life, man. I'm just a young nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? What I done turned into, man.
No need to talk it out. No need to talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out.
If your life was, if your life was like mine and you was slightly out your mind, kept a cannon every time on the spot, dumb grind. Pull so many 24s your classmates can't see you. Sliced at the ball game, classmates can't be you. Waste your whole young life with the dope fiend people that crowned you king cause you had nicks and you kept it lit. Ain't seen the sun in weeks. I'm on my way home, mom's on her way to work, bitches on their way to school, laughing at your boy cause my outfit is filthy, I'm stacking. Sooner or later the same bitches will feel me what's happening. Swinging H at lunchtime, Zapco slapping. Young niggas stacking, sucker butts I'm clapping. Run towards the magnum, nah nigga choppers. Helicopters of life flight them just to revive them. So we can think he back ill and get killed. Trying to test a real deal, skit soap out his grill. Crip smoke make me feel bigger than life. Joking in a mouth shot, living a life. I wish my nigga dose survive them shots so we can be back with us, cut me loose, hugging the block. We miss you.
Talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out. No need to talk it out. No need to talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out. No need to talk it out.
Realest niggas in America, nigga, this verse is for the current time. The bottom line is, I had to pay for all them years I was shining. 2003, they caught your boy grinding. Federal case, that's out of state, 13 case. Best friend turned snitch, told the whole shit. Had me on the run, laying low. I was tucked in the rich and docked in the O. I can't forget about my Hunters Point era. I was running from the feds in the hottest block in America, man. That's how I know I'm ill. My cousin Ray is real. I love how you kept your cousin safe every day. I think about the future, my little C and Lil Ray. Young L, Big Rome, I'm in the zone, 15 months is nothing. I'll be right back. A real nigga stand solid, calling the trap. The only pain still in my heart is for my nigga Freak. One love to my brother Mike fighting the murder beat, nigga. Get on, nigga.
Talk it out. No need to talk it out.
Ain't no more talk.
No need to talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out. No need to talk it out.
Hey, shout out to the hustler, RP to Jackson. Man. And we talk it out. Nah, we can't talk it out, man. Niggas been disrespecting the black Seminoles. I'm here to put them on. All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in to the How Black Seminole Indians came back from Mexico to Oklahoma in the 1870s. So right now, we at the War Department Interior Office of Indian Affairs in Washington, D.C. It's September 27th, 1872. And the majors and the generals in Texas, right on the border, Rio Grande border, the Rio Grande, the Texas border, is putting in the case to be able to get funding to be able to send the Seminole Negro Indians back to the Indian Territory. So let's see what DC is saying now. Sir, referring to a report from the office of the 23rd instant relative to the subsistence of certain Negro Seminole Indians, more at more at Fort Duncan, Texas, and to the decision of the Department of the 25th instant that that the funds appropriated to collect bands of Kickapoo and other Indians roaming on the borders of Texas and Mexico, and to locate and subsidize them with and sub and and subsist them in the Indian Territory. In the Indian Territory, cannot he use what they say? Casual or candle. I don't know what that is. Um, okay, they're in the Indian Territory. Can he use in the subsidies said Seminoles while they remain where they are at present? Okay, hold on. Let me bring that back real quick. Kickapoo in Mexico, and to locate and subsist them in the Indian Territory. Can something can be used in subsistence? Said Seminoles while they remain where they are at present. Respectfully ask that the matter matter he lay before the Honorable Secretary of War with the request command that the commanding officer at Fort Duncan be instructed be instructed. Okay, so hold on. Be instructed. Okay. To ascertain whether the said Indians will or will not go to the Indian Territory, where the appropriations wherein referred to would be made available for relieving their present necess- for relieving their present necessary necessaries. I mean necessaries. Necessaries. Okay, so it looks like that they trying to figure out if they even gonna take them to the Indian Territory. That's what it seemed like her. Like, okay, if y'all even gonna take them very respectfully, your obedient servant, commissioner. Okay, so this is in DC. So let's see what the next page. It just looks like that they just trying to confirm if they're gonna take them to the Indian Territory. I guess if it's okay. So we got the Indian Office, September 27th, 1872, with reference to certain Negro Seminole Indians now at Fort Duncan, Texas, requests that Honorable Secretary of War be asked to instruct commanding officers of said posts to a certain if these Indians will remove to the Indian Territory. So I guess they're just trying to confirm if they're gonna go to the Indian Territory. Okay, so we still in DC because we sit at the Department of Interior, Office of Indian Affairs. So now we in December, so a couple of months done went by. Still 1872. Sir, I have the honor to acknowledge the receipt by reference from your department of a letter from the War Department dated the 22nd, Mexico, in the 22nd, enclosing a copy of a report from Major Marion. Okay, that's the dude that's speaking up for us. Major Marion, the commanding officer at Fort Duncan, Texas, concerning the wishes of certain Seminole Negro Indians in that state as regards their removal to the Indian Territory in reply to inquirers have to in reply to inquiries have upon the report of this office under date of September 27th last. In reply, I have to state that where said office report was made. I have to state where said office report was made. Uh, it was thought that the persons in questions might be provided for this department and that the funds as appropriate by the acts of Congress approved July 15th, 1870 and March 3rd, 1871. Okay, so they said that the funds already been there right here. Okay. To defray expenses of collecting bands of Kickapoo and other Indians roaming on the borders of Texas and Mexico, and to relocate and subsist them in the Indian Territory could be made available in the event of the removal of the Indians to aid to said territory. Since the receipt, however, of the papers above referred to this matter has been carefully reexamined and reconsidered, which accounts for the delay of the report, reassuring in the change of opinion, researching in the availability of the said. Oh shit. The availability of the said appropriations of the obligation of the buriers in this premise. So now they reneging. Hold on, it's crazy. The nigga say y'all didn't move fast enough whenever the money. Hold on, this is crazy. Okay, so Major Marion in a letter of August 12th, 1872, copy furnished with his present report giving a synopsis of the history of said Negro Indians, states that they were encouraged to leave Mexico in the spring of 1872 with the view of returning to their original home with the Creek. He fails, however, to state that whom they were thus okay. He fails he fails, however, to state to whom they were thus encouraged, and no evidence is found in the records of the office to show that their remove was authorized by the department. That's crazy. So they saying that this nigga Marion is doing too much, nigga. That nobody authorized you to tell them niggas to come back from Mexico. That's what the nigga saying right now. Them niggas in DC is on some bullshit. Okay. I do not think that they should have been removed from Mexico. Ooh, I do not think that they should have been removed from Mexico at all. And are and at all and are decided by by of the opinion by of the opinion that they should not be forced upon the Creek. Mm. This whole ass nigga in DC, the Creek Nation, in a such as by the terms of man, we got some pushback right here for real. Hey, nigga writing big paragraphs. They got a whole nother page. In the Treaty of 1866, with that tribe, the class of persons referred to should have returned within 1 year from the ratification of said treaty in order to be entitled to equaling rights and privilege with the Creeks, nor do think it was con contemplated by the acts of Congress referred to that the funds appropriated thereby should be applied to defray the expenses of removing and subsidizing these persons. Hold on. Of these persons. In conclusion, I have to say that this office does not know what, if anything, can be done with these Negroes, and is of the opinion that they should not be returned over to this bureau to be cared for. So, so they got $61,000 that the Congress and everybody that approved, but they say it's for Kickapoo and the Indians on the border. But this whole ass nigga think that we shouldn't get it. As you see, I think this is the same person that disrespected niggas last time by just saying niggers, by just saying Negroes. I don't know what you're gonna do for these Negroes. Niggas been calling niggas Indians, Seminoles, but this dude right here is really he's stating his case. He pressing his line. He pressing his issue on on how we shouldn't get no assistance. The papers in the case are here with a return with a return. So we got some pushback right here. Who is this whole ass nigga? Wallace. I think that's the same dude. The commission. Hold on. Yeah, I think that's the same dude that was disrespecting last time. So this is coming from DC. He's sending it back to the interior, saying how uh they shouldn't have been taken from Mexico and how they shouldn't be getting no assistance, and basically just kind of just trying to put them in that whole boat as far as that they just niggas, that they ain't Indians, even though they've been lightweight treated like Indians the whole time, but they've been tricked and gaffled and all type of slave rape. I mean, it's been all type of goofy ass shit going on with these. They've been doing to my peoples and stuff like that. So you got certain people that got love. You got certain people that don't got love. This is a person that don't got love. You know what I'm saying? For real though. And I ain't said that the other person got love either. He may be, uh, a slave owner, and crazy like that too. But his his argument for us to be able to still get the funds and for us to still be able to he the one fighting for us for sure to be able to kind of make something happen for us. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking up for us. He as far as the person within the government that he's speaking up for us within the government. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of making them say whatever they say. That's making them come with they pushback. And that's Marion. This dude, I think his last name Wallace. I gotta be on the lookout for him too. So let's go to the next page. So yeah, that's Wallace. Okay, so we got a cover sheet. So we got the Indian office December in reply to the letter from War Department. So basically, with the report of Major Marion in relation to the concern of Negro Indians in Texas. So every express on the cover letter sheet gonna have something about Negro Indians or some Indians. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't. It ain't said African. So we're gonna keep it going. So let's see what this got to say. Okay, so yeah, like this. Okay. So we got the Department of Interior, Washington, D.C., December 17th, 1972. The Secretary of War on the 12th, it's of September 72, addressed a count to this department stating that the appropriation for the department, particularly of the subsidies branch, ins- were insufficient to meet the demands. Oh my God, of the army, and calling attention to and 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 calling attention to the fact that a number of Negro Indians who have been induced to return from Mexico in the spring of 1872 with the view of their permanent residence with the Creeks in the Indian Territory were being subsidized at Fort Duncan, Texas, at the expense of the War Department. He argued that the that the Commission of Indian Affairs be divided to take immediate slip for the further subsidies of these. Okay, so they just pushing it out. Okay, so they just saying no. They saying go holler at the interior, the in the Indian Affairs, the Commission of Indian Affairs. They said go holler at them. Okay, so let's go to the next page. What was that last one? For the further subsidies of these, once again, they just calling them Indians. So we got the last person nigga that said Negroes. Now it's Indians. But niggas want to be mad. Niggas want to hate. Niggas want to talk shit. Niggas want to talk slick. When a nigga say, "Hold on, nigga," well, I'm an Indian, and, and niggas be fucked up like, nigga, you don't look like an Indian. It ain't even about the look. It's about the culture. It's about the lifestyle. It's about the lineage. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna do a more deeper dive into more of the roots of the Seminole, but this is kind of this is kind of like the end. It's like I say, this is 1870. So within that same year, not that same year, but within that same decade, they basically end up changing their names from Indians to freedmen. You know what I'm saying? From Indians to freedmen, when at the same time, black people was already freedmen before that. You know what I'm saying? So, but these guys was called Indians, and you see it all through these. You see it through all these papers. But let me stop preaching and continue to read. This letter was referred to the Commissioner of Indian Territory for his views. That office is a report dated dated the 23rd of September, called attention to the history of the case to the effect that the Indian office was asked by the War Department on the 29th of September 1870 to participate in the expenses of removing these Negro Seminoles from Mexico to the United States. And the Indian office is a letter dated the 13th October 1870, decided that said above of the expenses may be paid off of the appropriation of the $25,000 made by the Act of July 15th, 1870, for collecting bands of kickapoos and other Indians moving on the borders of Texas and Mexico, and locating a subsistence there is in locating and subsidizing them in the Indian Territory. No components, no correspondence, however, was had with the Indian Bureau, nor dates for subsidies reminded up to the 12th of September 1870 by the War Department. The the commission asks whether the commission asks whether the appointive whom referred to were was applicable for this purpose of subsidies of these Indians while they were once again these Indians while they were not in the Indian Territory but at Fort Duncan, Texas, asserting that the matter of removal was left wholly to the office of the Army, and that the Indian of War and that the Indian of the War. So I don't know if they pushing back, saying, "Hold on, y'all didn't move a certain way." Without information as the cause of said Negro Indians being detained at Fort Duncan. So they saying detained. They saying so they trying to put a little. They saying that y'all said just sent them niggas to the Indian Territory. What y'all detaining them at Fort Duncan for? Uh, at Fort Duncan, insistent in instead of being retaken. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The niggas already had the money, already had the 25,000 with the Indian thing. They should just make that happen. He also called it. He also called attention to the fact that an appropriation of $40,000 had been made for the same purpose as the foreign one of $25,000 that there at the disposal of the Indian Bureau to sum of $61,104.63 for the purpose of collecting bands of kickapoos and other Indians as foresaid. He could be stating that in view of the availability of funds of funds for the purpose of subsidizing these Indians. Once again, these Indians in the present location states would be immediately taken to remove them to the Indian Territory where they might be properly cared for. The acting secretary on the 25th September decided that the money appropriated as above states could only be used in collecting and removing the Indians to the Indian Territory and furnishing them with subsidies during the time reasonable consumed in such collection and removal, and that no authority explicit for using said funds for subsidies these Indians in their present location. Okay, so that's what DC tripping on. DC tripping on them not just automatically taking them back to the Indian Territory and using all the funds for them just for being down in Fort Duncan. Okay. But they just ain't shooting them off. I mean, I guess the War Department saying they ain't messing with them no more just to go to the Indian Bureau or to go to the Indian Affairs or the Indian Department. The commission was then divided to as certain whether said Indians would remove to the Indian Territory, and in the event of their willingness to do so, to take immediate action to accomplish that result. Are requiring being made strong are requiring being made through the purpose through the purpose James it was from that the Negroes were willing and that the Negroes were willing and blank to go to the territory, which which information was cursed to the Indian Bureau in due time. The commission now plates in the title of the it's kind of hard to read that. And it's still going on the same letter. That B has changed his mind in regard to the uh, availability of the funds. Okay, that B. Okay, so hold on. Who are they talking about? Change their mind. Which information was encouraged by the Indian Bureau in due time? The commissioner. Okay, the commissioner. The commissioner now placed in his. Okay, okay. So the commissioner. So that's why the commissioner is tripping. Okay, that's why the commissioner is tripping. That he has changed his mind in regard to the availability of the funds referred referred to for the purpose named. He states further that this is no evidence on file in this office to remark the assertions that the Indians were in the firm place encouraged by the Indian Bureau to leave Mexico. And he is decidedly and he he is decidedly of opinion that they should not be forced upon the Creek, with whom it was expected they move be granted in the Indian Territory. The commission does not know what, if anything. Man, this is a long reply. They got about 5 pages. No, if anything, If anything, I am be done with said Negroes. If anything, okay, so he basically saying, if anything, I would be done with said Negroes and object to their being turned over to the care of the bureau under any and uh, be done with said Negroes and object to their being turned over to the care of this borough under any circumstances. The papers are trans are subs, the papers are substituted to the Department for Information. So whoever this person is they ain't showing no love either. Statement of the facts is relations to the matters of removing the Seminole Indians, Negroes from Texas. So we got another cover letter sheet, Department of Interior. So this is where we're gonna stop it at. I'm gonna start it back tomorrow. We're gonna start back here at August 31st, 1875, from the War Department. So a good breakdown. So we started in 1870, where the majors and generals in Texas was started to reach out to the interior for funds to be able to send the uh, black Seminole Indians back to the Indian Territory, which I guess had to get approved through DC. And through DC, it looks like that the subsidies general didn't want to give the funds, and the War Department didn't want to give the funds. But it turned out that it's $61, not $61, but $61,000 available for this purpose of removing Kickapoos and other Indian tribes on the Texas border and Mexico border back to the Indian Territory. But it seemed like there was some pushback because the Black Seminoles were supposed to be taken back to the Indian Territory back in the 1870s when they first got them. But it looks like that they was um, detained at Fort Duncan. Well, that's what the word that was used, detained. I'm really not sure if they was detained, but that's what they was used at Fort Duncan. Um, and so they was detained at Fort Duncan, and it wasn't sent to the Indian Territory. So the War Department seemed like they are upset about them not being sent to the Indian Territory within a timely manner, and that the funds were used uh, for them in Fort Duncan instead of in the Indian Territory. And they bringing up certain little things within certain paperwork to try to prove their point to where that certain Indians shouldn't get subsidies and stuff like that and assistance. But as you see throughout these pages that we have been through, um, it's nonstop Seminole Negro Indian or Negro Indian or Indian Negro or Negro Seminole. It's only been whenever they holler at the people in DC, where they have just said just Negro, just okay, yeah, we can't help these Negroes, but still at the same time within the same letter that's right before them, they calling them Indians. They ain't even putting no Negro on it. They just saying Indian. So just like I say, this is where I can say that the mislabels started happening for us. because it seemed like because this is 1870s, um, and it seemed like kind of once the war kind of ended and things started to get as far as a new establishment of the United States, of the new United States. That's when our names was changed to freedmen. But as you see, all before that time, that the generals and commissioners and the War Department and majors, they calling us Indians. You know, on every little cover letter is Seminole Negro Indians or Negro Indians or something like that. It only came from D.C. From one dude where he just kind of just call us Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Really not putting kind of showing some type of hate uh, by not giving us the correct label. But the people that's in the field, because them it's just people at their desk that's not giving us the correct label. But the people that's in the field is giving us the correct label. They the ones that's putting the Indian term on us because they saying how we live and they saying the culture. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, I'm going to stop it right here. Been going for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm going to start the part two tomorrow. And we're going to finish up this amazing story about how the Black Seminole Indians came back from Mexico to Oklahoma in the 1870s. And I'm starting to figure out that this is around the time where my people, I'm not really sure where everybody else, because at the time it was already freedmen running around the United States. So, but it's when they put the term on us and just kind of just put us in one basket as far as black people, and not, with taking into account that, yeah, it was some Negro Indians over here that we did see in Florida and the South and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna bring it all to light. That's what my whole little get down is about. It's doing Seminole history, the Black Seminole history, and also just Black Indians, Aborigines, Black people in America that was found in America by Europeans. So, Fish are gone to end it, man. I hope everybody have a good night. Pull up, roll up, get right.